Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's get started. See, make sure that everyone can hear. It's been a very good day. It's been a very good day. Lots of news coming out, and lots going on behind the scenes. That's why I'm coming on so late. I'm burning the midnight oil because of long discussions with so many, and bringing everything together. Um, everything's in God's timing, so I can't make any promises for, like a certain date or whatever, because this is bigger than what we ever expected. What Richard did was absolutely heroic beyond our belief. And, the cartel is crumbling. Cuba is crumbling. Um, Not Cuba itself, but the regime there that has prevented a a free country where you can Cuba is so beautiful, y'all, so beautiful. Um, and it has just been in prison for decades and decades, so that it's crumbling, and they were just exploiting so many um individuals, especially women, being trafficked from Cuba all the way into El Paso. And they've just rescued some Cuban women that were being exploited for their circumstances. So there needs to be a golden age in Cuba, as well as in the United States, as well as in Mexico. We need a golden age, right? Not the cartel age, not the Mormon faction cartel exploiting, trafficking, stealing, theft, murder, all of that, what they're doing. Um, we don't need that. We don't need that. We want a golden age. So let's get started. And um, just a lot of love coming our way. I was sent, and I'm very grateful that over at Candace's podcast, which she has millions of followers. She is very articulate, and she understands this media, and this whole situation with Charlie Kirk and TPUSA and, alternative media. She knows. I remember her when she first arrived on InfoWars, um, uh, when that all happened, because our family would watch InfoWars. Of course, InfoWars has now showed its true colors. They're not interested in free speech, right? Because they are so mad at Candace Owens for her free speech. So really Alex Jones kind of lost us there. He lost that. That's very clear. We were in discussion in 2020 and 2021 also with InfoWars, with even Owen Schroyer, when Owen Schroyer was there, about Richard's case. So they know all about Richard's case because we've communicated with them. Um, so let's get started. It's going to be a very interesting. So many interesting things are happening. I mean, it's been so busy that I haven't really been able to really review the news as much as I want to, because there's so many things happening behind the scenes. Everything is on such a fast pace, a very fast pace, and for good reason, and I'll explain that to you. So, 1,994 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss. For being a whistleblower, for knowing the basis connection with the Walmart mass shooting. Okay, this is very important for everyone to understand, because it is true that he was reporting criminal trafficking, right? The worst type of crimes against children. But What really bothered these criminals is that Richard was reporting the base's connection with the Walmart mass shooting. That's what really bothered them. And that's why he was forcibly removed from his barracks room, taken downstairs to the basement room, to the arms room. And it's a soundproof room, and his life was taken from him. Um, and his body was then stolen off of Fort Bliss, um, because this was a political hit. This was a code red political hit. That means that there were many individuals that were willing to sell their soul to the devil in order to have certain political outcomes, or certain political hit jobs. And the target of their attack was President Trump and the 2020 campaign, right? That was their target. They were attacking President Trump. They were attacking his campaign. And we know after all of these years that they will go to huge lengths even to be a monitor for ICE, right? A monitor, well, not for ICE, but to obstruct ICE's operations. People will go to huge extremes and even put their life in danger in order to attack President Trump, his administration's policies when it comes to uh, uh, the border. And so this is what was happening in 20. They went to huge lengths like DES Thomas Kane, like the infiltration into the agencies and to the organizations by this criminal, politically driven um, trafficking network. And you know, we have been invaded, and the invasion has then also infiltrated into our agencies and government institutions, because, really, as Americans, we always have believed we're a melting pot. We've always been so gracious with people coming in. I know all about that because of my son in law, because of my own mother, because of my grandparents, because we're immigrants, right? We're immigrants, but we're legal immigrants. And so, we've done very well because we haven't had individuals that had something over us to exploit us, right? I mean, of course, the government exploits us, but when you have these trafficker kingpins or whatever you want to call them, these cartel people that you owe money to or whatever because you are coming into the country illegally or being trafficked into the country as unaccompanied minor, and these individuals have something over you because you're illegal, right? They can blackmail you, they can control you, they can exploit you, and do the most horrible things to you. We saw that in the Mario Ortiz Ceroldi case where he exploited his own clients, that he was a lawyer. He's a lawyer, and he's an immigration lawyer, and he's exploiting his own clients that are captives, and he exploited them to have his way with them in a hotel room, and then he returned them, these victims, these trafficked victims, women from Cuba, to the captors, to the captors. You know, it's there was he has been charged with soliciting prostitution, but show me where the prostitute is. Show me where the consensual sex is. See, this is the problem that I have with anything outside of marriage, any of these intimate relationships outside of what God has put barriers on, right? It's not me. I'm just saying I'm in agreement. I'm going to listen to God because God's pretty smart, right? He knows human nature. He knows the mind of a criminal. And this is this is not my problem, but this is why I listen to God. You marriage is so wonderful if you are following how God wants you to be, right? And it gets so messy when uh when we don't listen to God. It gets so heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, violent, violent. um, and death occurs. And then you want to cover up that, and then you have the dumping of bodies in narco crematoriums, and then you have people that want to just exploit it even further and do harvesting, and it is just the most awful thing. It's just so awful, and the worst type of crimes against children, and is just snowballs into hell. It just spirals downward into a very dark place where there's gnashing of teeth, and it's very satanic. And so, a lot of people right now, including Candace Owens, is reporting on the spiritual nature of what's going on right now, the satanic nature, saying it's very, very important. And I agree with her because when you're in communion with God, right, when you're in communion with Him, um, and you're saying, "Yes, I'm gonna. You are my King of Kings, right? I'm gonna follow what you say, um, and know that it is for good and for glory and for beauty and for health and for strength and everything." Then things. Uh, I'm not saying are perfect because we still suffer from other people's um, rebellion, right? Other people's rebellion, but it it gets as good as it can be. It gets as good as it can be, and yeah. So she Candace Owens, and I'm thinking about Candace Owens right now because we have some breaking news. The truth is getting out there. She has millions of followers, and someone paid money to put the right narrative of Richard, to put the truth about our son on her chat. And uh, that is just a huge victory. That is just a huge, huge victory. And we're just very, very grateful for it. And I want to say thank you so much to the person that sent that to us. Um, I'm getting so much information sent to us that please be patient if I haven't read through everything. But this one, it stuck out. Um, I guess God just led me to it, um, and I'm just so grateful. That was really, really good news today. There is, buzz going on in El Paso. It's all the buzz right now about Buzz Adams. But Adams from Clack, I call it Clack. It's KLAQ, KLAQ. I call it Clack, Clack, Clack. They came out um, to one of our rallies. We had, I need to count them all, but it um, way over 90 um, rallies for Richard. And one of those, and this is in 2020, and one of those, uh, one of the members from CLAC, KLAQ, this Buzz Adams, he has a morning radio show on it, um, came out to talk with us, and they had their opportunity, and they didn't stand with us. And they knew at that time, we already knew at that time, um, because, we were so excited to talk with them when they came out. We were so excited to speak with them. We're always excited to speak with everybody. We've been even after all of the retaliation and the threats and the um, vile and vulgar communications we've gotten over these 5 years. I mean, so much, so many attacks. I can't even tell you. Um, and they've bounced right off. I guess we're from South Carolina, right? Um, so, we have the full armor of God on. We have the hedge of angels around us, and it just bounces off, and we're standing here, very positive, very um, determined, very determined. We are absolutely filing and checking everything that, because we file in many different ways. And one of those ways is um, through certified mail, and we check all of those numbers all the time. And if it doesn't go through, we resend it. Um, so, just a lot going on behind the scenes to get to the bottom of this, literally, um, and to pull it apart, just crush the evil so that we can have our son's remains back. And also for our country. Um, what they've done to El Paso, what they've done to Mexico. We know a lot about Mexico, Chihuahua, Mexico. We're in communication with Mexico City. So, you know, it's um, it's just so important for us to be determined. And God has given us the energy to do it, the means to do it, the time to do it, and also the know how to do it, and the support from others uh, to do this. And we're just very, very grateful to have all this good news today. And it's really a shame that KLAQ Clack did not do the right thing and support us. Um, support Richard, the real hero. They had this opportunity. Can you imagine going back in time and not wanting to support the real heroes in time? You know, because Richard is a huge, huge hero, and they blew it. And we absolutely, when I saw that, um, that Buzz Adams was arrested, right? Was arrested because I know that he participated in the attacks in the political in the political realm that were lies. I'm just thinking, oh, did he sell his soul to the devil? Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. But now with these arrests, it looks like, he's up to no good. I mean, that's a confirmation he's up to no good. So that is interesting news that is buzzing around El Paso right now. The other, I mean, huge, we have so much huge breaking news because we have the TP and the DF, the two names of the agents in charge of the Walmart shooting case that knew. See, this is the thing. We have confirmation that El Paso Inc., um, another outlet. Of course, they are all in cahoots, so they all knew. They all knew that about the Maiellas family being the family of Patrick Crusius. They knew it, and because of those outlets, Sylvia Brundeforth knew it. That means that El Paso Community Foundation knew it. That means the Commission on Judicial Conduct knew it. And also the confirmation that the FBI knew about this Maiella's relationship. of course, with Michael G. Maiella working under Whetten um, in the FBI office, the very assistant special agent in charge that leaked uh, the identity of our son to the cartel to put a target on his back. And these two, that we have their names, TP and DF, um, these two individuals that reported to Whetten on the Walmart shooting case. They were on the Walmart shooting case. They reported to Whetten, and they are absolutely up to no good because they knew about this conflict of interest. They kept Jaime Esparza, the district attorney at the time, whose sister was at the Walmart as a victim, on the state case. They allowed that to happen, which is such a huge conflict of interest. They themselves have conflicts of interest. One of them is Air Force, Randolph Air Force Base, which is San Antonio. That's Operation Arctic Frost. Being at San Antonio, Randolph Air Force Base, and all of that. The other had some major problems with domestic abuse. The judge, I mean, these are special agents that report to Conal Whetten that were on the Walmart case. Okay, these were the two agents on the Walmart case, and one of them had a domestic abuse issue where the judge um, uh, forbid him from seeing, yeah, uh, seeing his wife, and that ended up badly. It ended up very badly, a very long, drawn out, and badly. Um, this is craziness because you know they allowed uh, unqualified individuals to take huge amounts of money from the Walmart Mass Shooting Victims Fund. They allowed tampered evidence to be filed into the case. They did not secure the crime scene for over 48 hours. I mean, this is a disaster. And they pushed and they allowed all of this in order to attack President Trump, to push this false narrative of a white supremacist when it was Patrick Crusius. My goodness, if you've seen any of my videos, if you've seen any of my information, you're like, Patrick Crusius, Patsy, right? uh, furthest from a white supremacist, right? Furthest from being able to even, I mean, he's blind when he doesn't even have his glasses on. He couldn't even tie his shoes when he was 18 years old. It's just, they knew about his mental health condition. They knew about his family. They knew about the open checkbook. They knew about all of this, and they knew about Richard. They knew that Richard was targeted. That yeah, they knew all about Richard because it was Conal Whetten that leaked Richard's identity to the cartel. They knew all about Richard. Um, so this is huge breaking news, and TP and DF, um, just up to no good, just up to no good, and that they were kept on the case and everything. So that's all really breaking news, and um, just we're very appreciative for all of those confirmations that law enforcement, special forces, the intelligence community, they're just all coming in this, the general population, because we are a government that is ran by the people, for the people, of the people. It's all about us, and demanding justice for Richard's case, for the Walmart mass shooting case, for all the trafficking, and of course the fuel theft. And that's really coming, being a huge part of this because of Venezuela, the theft, and even the theft, all evidence suggests, indicates that Fort Bliss fuel was being stolen, was being siphoned and stolen and sold on the black market. So, all of this is being addressed. Of course, Aaron Montes. Aaron Montes is under investigation, federal investigation. Um, il- y- Look, y'all, it's all happening. It's all happening. And I put out just a little sample of some arrests, and so that people can understand that the way we thought that this should all play out was wrong, that this was much bigger. This was about the fuel theft. It was about the money laundering. It was about the trafficking. It was about the worst type of crimes against children. It was about the total invasion of our country and infiltration into our agencies and government institutions. It was absolutely about the compromised media, the compromised FBI agents that targeted President Trump to stop his chances or thwart his chances in winning the 2020 election. So this is, you know, as President Trump, he has not quite one, almost in a couple of days. He'll have 1 year into his administration. The cleanup was just vicious, vicious, and it's not done. And it's just like the vicious negotiation for our son's remains. And I don't, and I understand that's why I come on every night for our own safety, but also to explain to everybody that we have been step by step with President Trump in this, because we went through those 4 years with Biden, and we understand the attacks that we got, that were just a little bit compared to the attacks that President Trump got. And you just wouldn't believe what they do. You just wouldn't believe what they're up to. You just wouldn't believe their satanic spirit. And there's some of you that do believe it. So the ones that are like, really, really, that happens, we are coming on every day to put forth the evidence for you to see for yourself, that there is an infiltration, that there was that allowed a huge invasion for even more infiltration, um, for no good, for destruction, for exploitation, for access to children, and more access to children, and money laundering, and fraud, 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 waste, 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 abuse, 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 with the funeral home business, with uh, you name it. If it wasn't bolted down, they would absolutely traffic it. And so, including our son, they trafficked our son's remains. They were absolutely flesh peddling. The funeral homes were flesh peddling. And it was, don't forget, it was the, COVID stuff. And there was monies for unaccompanied migrants that had died, and they were committing fraud for that. So for humanitarian aid, they were committing fraud, and it's just, and that's all coming out with what's going on in Minnesota. You see that. And then you have this woman in Minnesota that's willing to absolutely make a deal with the devil. And look what happened to her. She was shot right in her face. And, uh, you know, why? Because of, uh, to destabilize or obstruct ICE, or was it political? Political so that they could keep um, their milk cow going, whoever she was working with, and all these schemes after schemes after schemes. I just can't even tell you. There's so many schemes, and so that's uh, and Aaron Montez was covering up for all of that. He was covering up for all of that. He had all the information, but he targeted whistleblowers, and used his pen, his power of the pen as a journalist, to weaponize it against the truth tellers. Uh, and, he's just a scumbag, a media scumbag. That's what he is. So, yeah, thank you so much for coming on so late. And, it's just, I meant to come on at 10. I had it ready to come on at 10. And things got really very, very busy. So I just want to thank you for your patience. And please subscribe. Please share. Please tell others to subscribe. Please share, because this is how we get justice. It's the power of the people sharing and subscribing. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back. Thank you, Laura, for coming on, for your prayers and your love and your patriotism. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.